Good afternoon. Let's try that again. Good afternoon and welcome. It is 3:30 on Monday, May 12th. And I'm so glad you're here with me. I don't see anybody joining yet, but if you are, give me a thumbs up and tell me where you're from and who you are or whatever. So, oh my goodness, I just got this messy area cleaned up. Let me show you my face here a minute. It's just been a crazy day trying to figure out what I want to do. Had something in my brain. And hello, Holly, welcome. And so just probably within 15 minutes ago, I cleaned up my mess, figured out what I'm going to actually present. And so it was just kind of one of those brainiac days, I guess. Anyway, so as I said, it's Monday, May 12th, the day after Mother's Day. And we had a beautiful weekend here in Northeast Ohio. I think it's beautiful out there now. I've not been out. I will be going out when I'm finished. And the noise just went away a few minutes ago as they mowed my yard. And we had enough rain last week to make it really need mowed again. So it gets mowed on Mondays. So, and Shirley's here. Welcome. So we are moving into already the middle of May. And that is, my goodness, I just can't believe it. So the time just keeps whipping by. Let's get rid of this noisy watch on my wrist and flip you down to my desktop. So last week on Monday, I could not show you the inside of the catalog. Could only show you the outside. And I don't even think I had my copy down here with me last week. But now, as it went live last Tuesday, I can show you the inside of the catalog. So if you have one, you might want to follow along with the few things that I'm going to highlight for you. And then I'm going to make a card and then show you some samples that I actually made this morning. It's organized a little bit different than last year, and it's definitely a better product than what we had last year. So we got some great table of contents showing you the different suites that we have and product techniques, different techniques, and that's what I also like to show is different ways to do things. So table of contents is always great, and then also I always really love the index in the back, and this is much improved over last year's index. I'm trying to think. I haven't looked at old catalog for a bit if we even had a decent index. We did, but it wasn't that easy to follow, I don't think. But one thing you might notice with last year's versus this year's is the list of stamp sets. Almost two full columns if you figure what's here, here, and here. Here, stamp sets are here and a little bit up here. Now, just to make that clearer, there are a lot of things that did transition over to the online store. And there are also places in here that show you returning favorites. So it's a collaboration of things that can be found online. And if you're not sure where to find something, go online. Hopefully you're comfortable with that. And do a search when you get into the customer side of the website. Just do a quick search of what you might be looking for. And if it pops up, then you know that it is available one place or another. And online, you can always see everything that's in the catalog too. So it's just I guess a comfort mode of what is there. So let's go back here again. There is a lot of scrapbooking since we took over the Close to My Heart company and absorbed them into our product line, along with their what they called creators or whatever. We're demonstrators. They were had another name. There is a lot of scrapbooking, but if you look at some of those workshop scrapbooking kits, they can easily be made into cards, very easily. Even any of the little elements from there. So lots of scrapbooking. So let me show you one of my things. Did I already lose a page here? Okay, I'll talk about that in a minute. Okay. Maybe I pulled something out and didn't mean to. Where did we go here? Okay, let me go to page 33 and talk a little bit about cloud cover. Now, you know what our new in colors are. I showed those a while back. We have Strawberry Slush. I'm going to use that today. Timid Tiger. Oh, I don't remember all of them right now. Let's see, what do we have here? Secret Sea. There is Darling Duckling, and we don't have Cloud Cover. And Cloud Cover is not going to be released in an ink pad like this. There was some issue with this type of ink pad, in other words, the dry type pad, that the ink just doesn't work with it. It would not give a good crisp image. I guess that's the chemistry part of it. But you can get a refill, and you can also see it here in a classic Stamp & Spot small assortment 1. So there's the cloud cover. And for the life of me, I cannot find where the uninked ink spots are. But there are uninked ink spots, and they have a different type of pad. This happens to be pecan pie. So you can get an uninked one and use the refill for it. Also, keep in mind that you can use the Stampin' Write markers and then the Stampin' Blends. Now, you can't color on a stamp with the Stampin' Blends, but you can color on the stamp with the Stampin' Write markers. So I hope that makes that a little bit clearer. I don't have the blends yet. Let me grab this card that I made a few weeks ago. Oops. I'll be back. Okay, when I made these cards a few weeks ago, showcasing all of the colors, this is the one with cloud cover. Now, I use the Secret Sea to stamp on this, but in order to get that cloud cover color back there, I just stamped, or not stamped, but wrote with the Stampin' Write marker on this, and then breathed on it a little bit to get that color. So you can still do a lot with the cloud cover, but you know, versus actually being able to use the stamp pad. So it is what it is, but it's better than having a product released that ends up being pulled, and the expense of that I can't even imagine. So it's good that that was found out early enough that they could go with that. So that talks about cloud cover. Okay, one of my favorite things in the catalog is this beautiful gallery sweet collection. It's on page 53. I have the suite. I've not used it yet because I'm going to use something else today. But I do want to show you pieces, parts of it, and the paper. The designer paper here is just stunning. I also have this damask embossing folder. It's not a 3D, but it gives a great impression. So I'm going to use that one today. But I want to show you this paper. It is absolutely stunning. Now, it's very vintagey, and whether or not that's your style, I don't know, but the images are great, and it reminds me so much of photographs or prints or whatever you want to call them when growing up that some friends of my parents had. And I'll show you the one that I'm referring to. But the colors are just beautiful. So there's one I just love this. I can see these in some little frames. There's a good scenery one. So I'm sure you will be seeing this a lot because I have a lot of this paper. Actually, I double ordered it, so I've got more than I need. Okay, there's that. This is the one that I remember seeing. They had a print on the wall in an oval frame of this. At least that's what my memory tells me. And it was something I always admired. So there are 4 of how many different designs here. Here's a pretty one. Looks like that's the Capitol in Washington in the back. Okay, I'm not sure. Did I show the back of this one? There's a pretty green one. Here's the beautiful scenery. And this is like that damask. I think damask is a cloth, if I'm not mistaken. Oops. Another scenery one there. This one's a little bit different. I'm not quite sure what that one is. Beautiful background there, just plain like brush strokes. Some florals. And there's kind of a muted design. Here's one with some boats in a harbor. And a pretty brown brush stroke. That one, oh, that's gorgeous. And here's the last one here. Just makes you kind of want to wander off into the sunset there, the sky. The colors are basic beige, basic black, basic gray, calypso coral. The cloud cover is in there, but I didn't see where it actually matched what I wanted to look for in the cloud cover. Crumb cake, early espresso, gray granite, Lost Lagoon, mossy meadow, peach pie, pumpkin pie, secret sea, and smoky slate. So there is a wide range of colors there. Absolutely love it. And there's paper. I don't mean paper. Ribbon, embellishments. Can't wait to dig into these dies here. Okay, let's put that away. What's next that I have on my little list? Oh, we now have two-tone paper in 12 by 12 in all the colors. So I'm going to focus on that soon. I've had some for a while, but really haven't used it much. And another thing I want to point out that I almost missed, in fact, I transposed a number when I put in an order, and it came up metallic textures rub-ons. And I thought, I didn't see those in the catalog. Where are those? So they're on page 124. We haven't had rub-ons in a long time. They're in an order that's coming. I believe it's coming this week sometime. So I will be showing those next week for sure. They're 8 sheets, 4 of 2 designs on 5x7 sheets and in gold and silver. So I'm really excited to try those out. And then one more thing. I think I lost my little bookmark for it. It is on page 25. So I'm still learning the new catalog. Okay, here we go. I'm going to show this, and it's the Greetings for All Mix and Match Ephemera Pack. And here it is. I love this. There are sheets in white and also in black with wonderful fonts. So I'm going to use one. For all seasons, we've got Happy Birthday, Happy St. Patrick's Day. Everything is in there. And when you just are looking for something and you know you have it, but you don't know where it is, you could find it in one of these ephemera packs. And I love the greeting part of it. There are other ones as well. Oh, there's my bookmark. It slipped down. There are other ones as well I don't have yet. But this one really caught my eye, and I know I'm going to use it a lot. So let's make sure that I got through everything that I wanted to talk about. Cloud cover, two-tone, and those rub-ons. So there's a lot to go through and a lot to learn how it's different than last year. Okay, let's make a card. And then I have some samples to show you. Okay, I'm using the Thankful Garden bundle, and this is in the online exclusive area. It came out early May, I believe. No, this one was March, excuse me, because I tried to get it and it was sold out, and then it came back. So I just got this about a week ago, and here are the dies for it. And there are 12 dies. And I'll show you these leaves, how those work. This is the one that I've used for the cutout that I'm going to use today. This is a beautiful hydrangea. So that goes with that one. And then there are also smaller flowers that will cut out in here too, with some great sentiments as well. So let's make a card and then look at some samples. I've already done some of the work. Okay, and I am going to use a cloud cover card base. It's a nice soft bluish, blue-gray, I guess I would call it. It's grayer than balmy blue, and I like it. So I'm just going to keep that there. I have a small piece for the inside. So I'm going to go ahead and glue that down. Okay, I knew that the one that I picked up probably is the one that wasn't going to work very well. It's the way it always happens. And this is cut down to 3 3/4 by 5, so you see a little bit more of that border around there. Okay, on the front of the card, I have two options here, and I have another sample also made with the everyday arches. Love those. And then I did one with the new damask, so you can see the difference. This is the one in the beautiful gallery that I just showed you. So I think on this one I'm going to use the damask one. And I believe this is the largest of the dies for the everyday arches. So I'm just going to set that one aside. And make sure I get everything out of there. And I've already die cut and stamped this image, and I'm going to color that in Pretty in Pink and Granny Apple Green. And I also have two other what I call blanks of that same image, and I'm going to glue those together. And I've done this little technique before to add thickness to your card instead of dimensionals. I like that look so that you're not seeing empty space underneath, and I'll show that in another sample as well. So I know it takes paper, but that's what we are about, is about paper. And then I'm going to use the black image, or the black cutout from this, the Greetings for All. They are on page 25, and they're $7 for all of those. You get a lot. So that, and then I'm also going to use an online neutral matte dots in the black. So I'll be accenting with the black with that. Okay, so let's grab the light Pretty in Pink and try to make this go a little bit fast. Let's see, let's put my glasses on here. So I'm just going to kind of flick that color on there. I'm not even going to worry about something in the center. I probably should, but just like to flick that color. Can even leave some of that white. Now, Pretty in Pink is one of our, it was a returning color, but it was a color that is one of our in colors that carried over. So we've got one more year with this one. So I'll come back and fill some of that in. And this is the light one. And the more you go over it, the darker it gets. So sometimes you don't actually have to use the darker color unless you really want to. Okay, I'm going to leave that like that for now. Let me zoom in a little bit. Sorry about that, so you can see a little bit better. Just leave some of those edges a little bit more on the white side. Then I'll come back and fill in some of those accents with the dark. And for that, I'll use the bullet end. It doesn't really show up a whole lot, but I think you can pick that out. Okay. And Granny Apple Green. That's probably my go-to green. I just love Granny Apple Green. So let's do some light here. Now with these, I think I'm going to fill in most all of that. To me, it's so bright and fresh. Now, when it comes to apples, I don't think I care for Granny Apple. Granny Apples, what are they? Granny Smith, they're Granny Smith, right? They have another name, Granny Smith apples. But I believe they are green. I prefer any other red apple except what is the one I can't remember the one I don't like because I never buy it. I like a Gala apple. There's so many different apples nowadays. Growing up, I don't remember that we had too many different apple kinds. Okay. Highlight that a little bit with the dark. And come back in with the light again. And of course it lightens up as it dries anyway. I kind of like leaving the tips of the flowers white instead of coloring them all in. When I show you the sample, you'll see what I mean. Okay, that ought to do it. Watching somebody else color is probably not the most enjoyable thing anyway, so, but, oh my gosh, I just love that. Love it, love it, love it. Okay, so I'm going to glue this on. If you don't have the everyday arches, you need to get them. You just definitely have to have those in your stash. Okay, now I'm going to glue, and I only have this one and then two others to add the little bit of thickness to this. And I think my sample, I actually had 4. So just glue that. It makes your card look a little bit more professional with the thickness that you get, and trying not to get it all on your fingers either. And that kind of oozed out. Hold on here. Okay, add some to this one. And glue that down there. I mean, I love my dimensionals and I use dimensionals a lot, but for some reason with these large die cuts, I think this just looks so crisp and clean when you do it that way. So now no dimensionals on here, but I will add liquid glue to the back of this and put that on my card. So now you can hopefully see that on the edge, and it just looks so much more finished than with the dimensionals popped all over. It's just something that I like to do. Okay, now since this is in black, I'm going to put the sending hugs down here, and I'm actually going to glue those on too, or glue that one. My fingers are sticking to everything. So with this being flat, you can actually see for sure that this is so much thicker. I need to add probably a little bit more glue under there. So now let's add some black embellishments. And let's just grab my scissors here to do this. Do one down here. Okay. Let's do one up there. And of course we have to do 3. I think I will put one here on one of the flower petals. So there's a good card to send if somebody's not feeling well. And then I will probably decorate the envelope as well, but it's not ready to go yet. So this was the other option, and I do have one made with this too. Okay, let's put that away. So here are some samples that I have. To go along with this that I made today. And this one is made with the leaves that are from this set. With, where did they go? These are from dies from just leaves that are in the Thankful Garden set. And all I did with this was to run my Stampin' Blends, put the color away, which I forgot which color I'd used, Shy Shamrock, over some white paper and then cut it out. So that was not colored with the, that's not the cardstock. And then You Make a Difference. This is a circle from Stylish Shapes, and just a real simple card in here. It needs an insert. That also came from the neutral matte dots. But this is a template that I got right out of the catalog. And I also cut a bunch of those. So that is also thick on the edge, if you can see that. I'm not sure. I'm not in the camera part here. There we go. So there's that one. Here is another one similar to today's, using basic white as my card base. The same design. So which one do you like, with a little bit of white left at the edge or colored in? This was Flirty Flamingo. And this is the damask, and this is the mini corrugated. And that's also from the Greetings for All, Thinking of You. I love the different fonts in there. Okay, now here is another one from a set that I used a while back that has been around for a while, called You Are Remarkable. This is also online, but I love the sentiments here. And so I have 2 cards from that one. Here is just a simple hello, and that hello came from the ephemera pack. Now this one does have a bunch of dimensionals underneath because that is fussy cut. So that took a little bit of time, but not too bad. And this one uses the Strawberry Slush and Pretty Pink Gems. And then there is this one, Friends Are Flowers in the Garden of Life. And this is also with the Strawberry Slush. So that's what I have for today. And I am sticky and I've got to go wash my hands. So thank you for joining. It was a little bit different today with creating, but at least I had some samples to show. And I like all these. I like this one too, using that big circle one. So they're just simple, easy, no fuss, no muss. So have a great rest of the week. Next week I should have those rub-ons here, and my blends should be here. And we'll see what I can come up with. So take care. Thanks for being here, and have a great week. Bye-bye.